Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Tai here. Tai, you're an accomplished racer. You've been in that area for quite some time. You've had some great victories, multiple time champion. Now you're taking a lot of your talents over, to the music space, DJing, and also creating you've got a new track coming out with an incredibly accomplished artist as well. So I'm excited to have you here and to get into your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ben. Yeah, looking forward to diving in, whatever you want to chat about.
Cool. So how did your interest early on in racing and wanting to be a competitive athlete, like how did that begin, that passion?
Ah, I would say I don't know if it was the passion for the racing, but like the drive for for accomplishing something was something that I had from a very young age. Um, first I think I first learned like obviously riding a push bike, then it was like let's go to the skate park and start doing like tricks, and then I wanted to try scootering because I kind of like got a little bit bored, so then I did scootering for a bit before scootering was cool. Then I got rollerblades and did that for a while and was dropping in on like a real steep bowl that we have in Western Australia. Um, and and then I started doing taekwondo. I was like the second youngest Australian to get my black belt in martial arts. So 2001, I think I got my black belt when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
So that was a pretty big achievement. I should have had it the year before, but I failed the test because I was sparring a guy that was like 6 foot, and I
Yeah.
was only like 3 foot because I was young. So yeah, this guy was just like punching me in the head, and I couldn't even get anywhere near him. But um, yeah, anyway, to achieve that was pretty special. And then I started riding motocross. Was really enjoying that, and then was racing at my dad's mate's place. He has like a track in his garden, so we was doing some laps out there and doing some little scratch races, just messing around, having a good weekend. And when we was prepping the bikes on the Saturday, there was a speedway bike tucked away in the corner, and I just said, "Oh, can I try that, Dad?" And he was like, "Yeah, no problem, but you gotta pick one or the other." So there and then I said, "Yeah, let's get rid of that and start doing speedway." And yeah, it's been a pretty hectic ride since then.
So do you think it was like, like how did you learn the discipline to go and get a black belt at, 11 years old? Was that something a lot of internal? Did you have people around you that taught you that?
Yeah, it was internal. Obviously, like my parents took me every day to the class. Like I haven't trained martial arts for such a long time. I haven't read the student creed since probably 2010, 2011. But I intend to develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that will reduce my mental health or physical growth. Like it's instilled into my brain because every lesson before we started was 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, read
Hmm.
the student creed, get to work. So yeah, it's just me as a person. I'm very driven. I always want more. I'm never really happy with where I'm at. Over the years, I've been trying to like sit back and appreciate the things that I do have and kind of like live in the moment rather than constantly be pushing for more and more. Um, but without that kind of like selfishness, driven, always looking forward. After like my wife could never understand it. You know,
Hmm.
like why are you so selfish? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? It's not that I'm selfish, but when it comes to them things about achieving something, then I'm very driven, and whatever it takes, we'll get done to make sure that happens. And it probably wasn't until like 5 or 6 years ago was hanging out with a lot of other athletes from different disciplines, and Faye would be having a conversation with their other half and whatnot, and we all carry very similar traits, and we're all at the top level of what we do. So um, whether that's a thing that you learn in your childhood or whether that's a thing that's just in you from day one, I don't know. But I tend to draw on it a lot and use it when I can.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there's definitely something innate about a person to be able to achieve the things that you've achieved for sure. But there's also the hard work element that I'm sure you put a lot of time into honing your craft.
100%. And that's the same with anything. You can't just rock up and be good at something. It takes time and lots of practice, lots of hours, lots of dedication, lots of sacrifice. And that's what like a lot of people don't see, but it's always happening in the background. not just doing what I'm doing, but what everybody does in life.
So how did you get like your racing career started, like from a financial standpoint? Because now you have, some incredible sponsors behind you. Initially, you had to prove yourself. How did you get past that hurdle of, hey, I want to do this. This is my goal. This is my career, but I also need to finance it.
Yeah, so I started racing at a young age. So I actually turned professional when I turned 16.
Mm.
Um, so prior years to that, I think I started racing in 2000 and I want to say 2003, just after my taekwondo, finished that up, and then there was a year doing nothing, and then it was, well, there was a year riding motocross, and then it was Speedway. So that must have been 2002, sorry, 2002.
Hmm.
Anyway, regardless, so I had like a period of time where I was racing in Australia, and there was a lot of people surrounding, like, hey, you're gonna have to take Ty to Europe. Like, he's looking like he's done pretty good. He could probably make a job out of it. And then we was like umming and ahhing it. My parents said to me, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, you know, I'm just happy surfing in the morning and riding my dirt bike at the weekends. Like, that's pretty much how my life was growing up. Surf in the morning before school, ride my dirt bike at the weekends, and then back into the routine again. So, um, then we got to the point where it's like, okay, you have to make a decision. So it's like, okay, we're going to Europe. And the first year we lived in a caravan, like a big static caravan. Don't know what they call what you, if you have them over in the US or what you would call them, but something you'd have like on a like an old person's home or something, you know.
Yeah.
And we lived in one of them for the first 3 years. And we just did everything on a budget. Like every single penny that I earned from racing went straight back into the pot. And then the result was then backed up with, oh, hey, we want to help you out. We want to support you next season. And as that grew, and as I grew through the rankings, and went and raced in Poland, went and raced in Sweden, and people saw me out there, then I signed contracts there, and it all just kept stacking. But along the way, there was a lot of grind. Like we drove like 24 hours to Poland for practice, and it got snowed off. Then we drove
Huh.
back. So there was a lot of that sort of stuff that people don't see, where we'll just like jump in a van. Oh, what time is it? Okay, it's 3 o'clock. Sweet, we can make it to Ipswich tonight. It's 5 hours away. Let's load up and go do some laps after they've finished racing. So there was a lot of traveling around the country, racing, riding at all the tracks to show people who I am and what I'm about. Um, and then yeah, it's kind of just like a touring life when you once you've got to like leaving the British scene and you're racing in Poland and Sweden, and then the World Championships come along and you're just flying in different countries. And I have a base in the UK, have a mechanic bikes, I have mechanic bikes in Poland, I have mechanic and bikes in Sweden, a van in each country, a toolbox in each country. So I'm at the
Huh.
point now where I can fly to Sweden on a Tuesday, race Tuesday night, fly back to England Wednesday morning, chill Wednesday. Thursday night I'll race at Sheffield in the UK. Friday will be possibly in Poland racing Polish league. Saturday will be one of the World Championship events. So last weekend it was in Poland. This weekend it's in Riga, Latvia. And then Sunday we're back in Poland again. Then I fly to England Monday, race in England Monday, then back to Sweden Tuesday. That's a full week. And
Wow.
then the following week there wouldn't be a Grand Prix. So you'd still do Poland, England, Sweden,
Mhm.
back to England, race English League. So it's like, it's a
It's intense.
lot during the season. But then in the off season, we do nothing. So just get
Mhm.
fit.
And how do you balance that with like family life and like also the travel is just a lot of travel.
Yeah. So, when we're in Australia, the kids do school there. They do term 4 and term 1. So they get that kind of like kid time. They get to hang out, do cool stuff. And then when it's time, when dad's got to go to work, we homeschool them here in the UK. We're based in the UK. So we homeschool them here. We have a private tutor which comes, she does 2 hours with them one on one, super intense. Then they get to like do stuff here and we go look around. But then if I want to fly the girls out, there's no restrictions. It's like, you want to come out for 2 weeks while I'm touring, doing this? Yep, sweet. Okay, let's book the flights and come with me. I feel like we're doing the best we can and what's right for us.
Hmm.
There's always people that'll be like, oh, you take your kids out of school for 2 terms, and it's like, well, yeah, but in the UK they have relatives that they get to catch up with. So Faye's parents are here, my mum's here, so they get to spend a lot of time. And then when we go to Australia, then they don't have the family, but then they have friends from school. So um, I like to look at it like they get the best of both worlds, and it works for how we're living our life at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Faye's just super understanding. She met me when I was in the midst of doing all that stuff. England Monday, Sweden Tuesday, England Thursday, Poland Friday, GP Saturday, Poland Sunday. So that's kind of all she's known since she met me. I threw her in at the deep end for sure.
So, we talked a little bit before about like the sponsors and how that helps. Now you have an incredible sponsor with Monster. What's that like working with such an iconic brand?
Yeah, it's really good. It's super fun. It's obviously it's like a lifestyle. I know it's an energy drink brand, but it's a lifestyle brand really. Like the vibe when we do the after parties, or when we're at the events and we do the Monster Energy rig riots. And I've been to other motorsport events where I've jumped on the rig, like did MotoGP last year at Silverstone, and their rig riot was the same as our rig riot, only there was a huge array of different riders from that sport. So
Hmm.
like it was cool for me to go check that out. And
Cool.
it's more about like partying and having fun. And the rigs are quite an exciting time. But yeah, if there's ever anything Monster Energy related, especially sporting wise, you should go down and check it out. It is
Yeah.
good fun.
It sounds like it's much more than, I mean, there's the drink and then there's a lifestyle around it, but it seems like they've really engaged like racing in a different way than other sports.
Yeah, it's just I feel like there's a look. Like if you're in Monster, there's a look that you have to kind of like. There's kind of like a broad outline of how you kind of are as a person. Um, More like the rough and ready rather than the clean cut. Yeah, I don't know. What they do as a brand is amazing, and it's an honor to be a part of such a brand like that. And you know, when I go to any event, they always have a highlight reel, and then like I see myself in that highlight reel, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. Like I still see myself as like the young kid that came over from Australia and is just riding my dirt bike for a living. I still see myself as that young kid. So, when you talk about stuff like being involved with a brand like Monster Energy and, you know, all the crazy stuff that I've done along the way, I kind of have to like pinch myself and say like, it's real.
Australia seemed to have been a great place to get into riding and just racing in general. I mean, not every place has that type of natural structure.
I was really lucky because, my dad and all the other dads built a track like 8 minutes drive from where I live right now. Um, so yeah, I've got like if I drive 8 minutes from 8 to 10 minutes from my house, I've got Wanneroo Junior Motocross Track, Wanneroo Senior Motocross, AJS Senior Motocross Track. We got the Junior Speedway Track. We have two Speedway tracks like next to each other, a small one and a big one. There's Barbagallo Raceway. There's a Supermoto track. Like as far as like motorsport's concerned, that area where I grew up is a beautiful little nest of motorsport. It's great.
Yeah, it's very convenient. I mean, like kind of some people gravitate towards certain sports because that's just the resources they have around them. Soccer, for example, it's low resources to get started, but you had like a great opportunity from just being where you live to really build up your skills pretty consistent basis.
Yeah, so my dad obviously built the track, so we had a key for the track, so we just used to go down and practice whenever we wanted. Like if he came in from work on a Wednesday a little bit early and he's like, "Oh, we'll go down the track and do some laps." Like, yeah, sweet. So yeah,
That's
I was pretty lucky to have that opportunity. And now there's other kids which have the same opportunity. I've been watching them grow up over the years, and they've actually just came over to the UK and done some racing this year or in Europe. So it's been good to watch their journey, essentially what I did, but a long time ago.
definitely. Where do you see like the sport tide going? Like, what things do you want to have happen with racing? Like, how can it come to the next level?
I still believe that I have another world championship in me. I've been injured every year since 2019 from had some pretty serious injuries, broken back, shoulder blade, fractured tibia, fractured femur, metatarsals in my hand, another one here which had an operation, plate and 8 screws, fractured my elbow this year. I've been out for 3 months. Well, it's going to be 3 months at the end of this month. Metatarsal in my foot. So like what I do is dangerous, but like I love it. It's all I know. Like, and I thrive in them situations of like big stadiums, indoor stadiums. Warsaw, we have 55,000, and it's like the roof just gets blown off the place when we roll out and we do laps. And yeah, I just live for that. So I still want to achieve more with my racing. I'm definitely not done. I'm really excited for next year because I am injured right now, but it's given me a head start, a full month head start on my training. So I'm literally locked in right now. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one next year. I'm excited for it already.
I'm excited to see it too. So you've got this whole music side to you as well, and you've now got a new track coming out. It's called Body. Where do you see the music career for you going? Like, what do you want to accomplish now in that avenue?
Me being me, our world domination, like everything else that I do. Um, yeah, like we said earlier in the chat, that's just who I am as a person. It's what I strive for all the time. So um, it all started the not this January, the January before. I went to watch Fisher. He was playing in Perth. He was obviously a pro surfer, and I was just stood there watching him at his festival that he was headlining. There must have been 20,000 people then. I looked at him and thought, if he can do it, and so can I. So got my head down, and here we are. Track release with Gabby Ponte on Armada, and Van Buren played on the State of Trance the other week. So yeah, it's huge.
It's getting some great pickup already.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's done 500,000 streams in like 2 weeks. So yeah, it's pretty special.
And how have you like learned the skills to really create good music? Like, have you been taking inspiration from others around you? How have you kind of perfected your own style and your own voice, so to speak?
Yeah, it's just I guess it's just like for me, obviously everyone's inspired by everyone else, right? So for me, like if I go to like I went to Creamfields the other week and I watched Armin's set, and actually it's the first time I've been to a festival and not really focused on the music. I was actually focused on like the visual stuff. Really getting locked in on that and how I see my stuff moving forward. But yeah, just from the music side, it's always like inspirational to see someone or hear something and then get in the lab, start cooking, and then put your own little twist on it, and then completely flip it and make your own thing. But yeah, it's a process, and every process is a little bit different. I'm only like early doors at it, so every process is a little bit different. And the next like 4 songs that I'm going to release, they all do. It's not like I'm sitting in one genre. Like this one we just released with Gabri, and then the next one's more like a main stage techno psytrance vibe. So I'm really excited to release that one as well. I'm looking forward to that. That's mid-October, also on Armada, with a Brazilian vocalist called Caress. She's got some good tracks out. So, and then the one after that will be a little bit more trancey because I'm doing a collab with Luke Bond. So, I guess I'm more like open format. I'm happy to make a bit of everything as long as I feel it.
You have to be pretty versatile to be in those kind of, you're in a lot of different formats already, but I'm sure like Armada is incredible to work with. I mean, they have so many resources.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like with Body. So my A&R at Armada, he sent me, Yasmin's vocal, and I heard it and I was like, oh, I can hear something. I think we can make something with it. And I just got down like a simple beat, got it all set up, and I sent it over to Gabri's team. And within 2 days, I was like, yeah, we love it. Like, we want to work on that. And then, 2 months later, after a few exchanges of the track, like we've got the finished product and it was ready to be released. So, yeah.
That quick.
It's nuts. It's that quick. Literally, it's so quick.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you're also learning a lot from Gabri. I mean, there's a ton of experience in him.
Oh yeah, and like I thought it sounded great, and then he sent it back after he'd mixed it, and I was like, wow. And then went back a few more times, and then he'd completely switched up the last drop, and the last drop's so fire, like it's so sick. So yeah,
That's cool.
there's from my side, there's so from that side of the world, there is so much to learn. Producing, even DJing, there's like so many little like tricks that I want to watch. I've watched. I'm thinking about what I'm talking about. So I've watched some videos of James Hype. Obviously, he's unreal at what he does. Makes me look like a very basic DJ, but I think he does that with a lot of people because what he's doing is so crazy. Not that I want to do the exact same thing as him, but I want to take some of them aspects and spin it off in my own way. So. Again, like, with creating the songs, it's also about performing as well. You take inspiration from little things and bits and pieces that you see along the way, and you create you.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can bring like your racing flair as well to the dance space, but with it, it's going to be different than what other people have done because you've got a very unique background.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really know how it's going to mold together yet. Right now it's working, and they're coinciding together, they're coexisting together, which I'm super thankful for. But yeah, I don't really know what's next. Obviously, keep creating these tracks, but it just takes one track to go crazy, and then I might be in a position where we're going to say, okay, am I doing that or am I doing that? I don't really want to be put in this position because I'm enjoying doing both.
So just the last question I have, Tai, you have this goal of getting another championship. After that, let's say, and you achieve that point, where do you see yourself going? Is this now full-time DJ, making music? Where do you see this next progression?
Me always wanting more. I'll probably want another one. If I get another one, I'll probably be chasing another one after that. Like that's just what I do, and I still love it, and I'll continue to do it until I don't enjoy it. And like right now, after the season I've had my injury at the end of June, and I've been able to race all of July, all of August, had an X-ray the other week, and now I'm out for this month as well. My elbow doesn't really look like it's healing too well, so I'm probably gonna have to have another operation to try and rectify that. So the fire is lit in my belly, like I'm hungry for next year already, and next year doesn't start till like mid-April. So the fact that I'm hungry now, I'm locked in. I just started the 75 hard challenge just to add it on top of my training session because I'm probably, you can say, a little bit stupid. So my days are hard right now. Struggling.
We'll figure it out.
It's going to be done to be the best at what you do. So the grind is real.
100%. Well, Tai, I appreciate you taking the time and doing this. I'm definitely excited to see this next phase of what you're building and like these two different avenues, you succeeding in them and getting back out there and getting a championship and hopefully another one. And I'm looking forward to your song coming, that's already come out, that getting a lot of traction as well. People should check out Body and your other music too. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, man.